What's going on, guys? Happy New Year's, okay? Happy New Year's. You are now into 2025. I wanted to do this video about what I heard when I was watching the Texas versus Arizona State game. What the announcer says that actually affects Colorado and Coach Prime in the 2025 season. When you see these two guys, they are no longer going to be there. So roll the intro now.
BWB. Bandwagon bust.
That's right. It's your man's Harry Billion. Please do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. Make sure to give me the thumbs up and don't forget to hit that bell notification so that you can get the videos as soon as it uploads to YouTube. All right, family, so I gotta go ahead and get into this video real quick. So that's all the business I got. You know what time it is. Let's work. All right, so welcome back and don't forget to smash that subscribe button like I said in the intro, okay, guys? The announcer says something that kind of struck me. Before all of that, guys, put some respect on the Big 12. College football loves to disrespect the Big 12. I don't know if it's because Colorado's in it or the Big 12 just didn't do what the Big 12 is supposed to do. There was some bad players, especially Colorado being one of the best teams in that Big 12, and the way they played against this BYU team. I'm still feeling the sting of that game. I don't know about some of y'all, but I'm still feeling that. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? Arizona State went into that Texas game and they almost won it. Man, it was like it came right down to the wire. They had one play, fourth down, and they could have made that stop. But that's not why we're here. I said congratulations to the Big 12 and to Arizona State for doing what they did and representing the Big 12 in the college football playoffs. It was a great game, and they almost beat the SEC Texas. But what did the announcers say in that game that will affect Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes? Let's talk about it real quick. Let's talk about it because I think it's important. So important. Obviously, I can't show you the game because YouTube is going to demonetize that video. But this is what the announcers were talking about. This here is the photo of the game. One of the announcers during the game says that the average weight of the Texas Longhorn trenches was 60 pounds heavier, man for man, 60 pounds heavier than the Arizona State's offensive line in the trenches. And it got me thinking, and I was like, well, wait a minute. What the heck did he just say? Did he say 60 pounds heavier, man for man, than the Arizona State trenches? It got me thinking, and I'm like, oh man, that is so true. Even though Arizona State played very well, their defense held up the entire game, Texas eventually was able to pull it off and win this game. But it got me thinking because I was like, if Colorado has great aspirations going to the Big 12 championship game, where they're going to still have to contend with this same Arizona State team next year. If Colorado wants to contend with BYU, Arizona State, Kansas, just put the entire Big 12 teams on the menu because come next year, if you think the teams that were bad this year are going to be bad next year, you're lying. You capping. Every team is going to get an upgrade. So in order for Colorado to just get out of the Big 12, to make it out of the Big 12, Colorado is going to have to make some changes on that offensive line. Colorado has to empty the NIL bag and go out and buy the biggest offensive linemen that the money that's in Boulder can buy and bring them to Boulder. I'm saying spend every penny on linemen. Forget about those skill position players, okay? Forget about them. We need the trenches. We're going to need those trenches to be bolstered because this is what leans on you at the end of the game. The trenches is where it's at. So I need Coach Prime, if you're hearing me, Coach Prime, I need you to spend every dollar, every NIL dollar that you got and go out and buy the most. As I'm watching the Ohio State game right now, which is in halftime, that's when I'm recording this video, where Ohio State is putting that beating on Oregon because Oregon is a fraud. I told y'all that Oregon was a fraud, okay? This is what I'm trying to say to you. And if anybody's hearing me out there, DC Carson Music, Feel So Real, Tim Smith, Love and Liberty, where y'all at? I see you fan, all the guys that come onto the panel and we talk, Ron Tate, all of y'all, Wild Dog. Y'all tell me if I'm going crazy or if I'm lying. Colorado needs to spend everything they got. Give $1 to the skill positions, but give every penny you got. And I'm saying hundreds of thousands of dollars, and go out and buy the biggest, the heaviest offensive lineman that Colorado's money can afford. I'm talking about 60 guys, 60-pound man for man, heavier than Arizona State's. If you want to win a championship, if you have championship aspirations, guys, you must, and I say you must, make the adjustments and make sure that we get movement on that offensive line. If Colorado does not go out in the offseason and bring in some of these big hogs on that offensive line and that defensive line that can stop the run, and now, I wasn't even going to talk about this on this video, but we got to get a Cam Scatterbull, because what Cam Scatterbull did in that game was crazy, was heroic. Threw for a touchdown, ran it in to tie the game, got the 2-point conversion. We need a Cam Scatterbull type runner. And Coach Prime, I don't care whatever is in your regimen, you must run the ball at all costs. If anybody at the sound of my voice that is hearing my voice, and thank you for hearing my voice, because if you're hearing my voice, that means you clicked on this video and you are listening to me. And thank you so much for supporting this channel, TRP Sports Club. I appreciate you. But if any of y'all that is hearing me, you understand what I'm talking about. If Coach Prime does not run the ball, we're going to be in trouble. Because if you are watching any of the playoff games, you know how important the run game has been. Cam Scatterbull, Ashton Jeanty, all of these runners you have seen on all of these playoff games. That is the run that establishes, opens up the pass game. So for the love of college football and everything else, I pray and hope that Coach Prime and his staff plans on running the football in 2025. But is Coach Prime planning on coming back to Colorado? There's rumors out there that Coach Prime wants to leave. Coach Prime ain't happy. Okay. I admit. It was Jason Whitlock, okay? I'm acting like it's all over the place. It was Jason Whitlock. And Lord God, I hope that Jason Whitlock don't know something we don't know. I really do, all right? But if Coach Prime is planning on coming back, then we got to understand something. Coach Prime, this graphic that I'm showing you, and if you are thinking that this graphic is going to change, that mind trap that you're having right now thinking that maybe this play for some odd reason is going to happen, it's not going to happen. It's a graphic, okay? You are looking at a graphic that ain't going to change. I know your mind is tricking you thinking, oh, maybe eventually Harry B is going to play this video. It's not going to play, okay? So forget about it. Let your mind go. It's just a graphic. Let me help you out, okay? Before I get off of this graphic, guys, remember, the announcer says 60 pounds, guys. 60-pound man for man, heavier than the Arizona State trenches. 60 pounds heavier in the trenches, the offensive line. As you look at them, 78, 76, 55, 52, 74, 81. The other guys crossed out by the yellow line, okay? But yes, don't forget this graphic. Those guys, Coach Prime has to go out and spend as much money to make sure that we get upgraded to 60 pounds. But in case you've been wondering, you're like, oh, Harry B, I'm just hearing your voice with this static thing. Let me help you out, okay? Let's go back to a live video. There you go. And I'm sorry to have to remind you about the game that Colorado lost, okay? But you needed some motion, something happening as I was talking. So you're welcome. But yeah, Coach Prime, you got to bolster that offensive line. Shador ain't going to be here no more. So now we got Caden Salter, we got Juju Lewis. I'm thinking Caden's going to start because he got more experience. But in order for those two quarterbacks to succeed, to have any type of success, we're going to have to bolster that line. 60 pounds heavier. Championship football. It starts with the trenches. We got to get so much bigger if we have aspirations to go far, because we know that we got skill position players that's lights out. We know that. We already know that. Don't take this as a racial thing, but I need to see some more white guys. I mean, for crying out loud, are we not in Boulder, Colorado? Am I missing something? We're in Boulder, Colorado, and our line looks too dark. So please forgive me. I want some white guys on that line. I mean, some beefy hog like you're looking at right now. Beefy hog white guys to make sure that we bolster our offensive line and our defensive line. Guys that can stop the run and guys that can block for the run. Okay? Because you're going to have to literally push the defensive line back in order to get 2, 3, 4, or 5 yards. And if we can't get that, then our run game is never going to happen. I don't know why Coach Prime decided not to run the ball. I don't know if it was an impedance. I don't know if something was stopping him. I don't know. But come on, you cannot win games without running the ball. Not at the level we're trying to win. So if we want to win, we're going to have to run the ball. So 2 things I prescribe to you. 2 things I will suggest to you that must happen. If you plan on keeping Mr. Vanilla, okay? And I ain't saying because he's white, but Mr. Vanilla Pat Shurmur. I'm talking about vanilla because he calls vanilla plays. His plays are stale. If you plan on keeping Mr. Vanilla play caller Pat Shurmur, I'm sorry, Pat Shurmur, I know it's your job. If you plan on keeping him, you gotta get 60 more pounds heavier, okay? You got to get 60 pounds heavier like the Texas offensive line, like that commentator said. If you don't, then you gotta get rid of Pat Shurmur. Why? Because you're gonna have to call plays that's gonna have to help your offensive line. You bring in somebody who can create havoc, who can create some chaos, who can call plays like this one right here. You see this? It was an interception, I get it. All right? So the point I'm trying to make was probably defunct. I get it. I understand that. All right? But I'm saying those are the type of things that you're going to have to try, even though it didn't work for them this time. I'm just saying you're going to have to try some new things. You got to try some new things in order for that offensive line to get a break. You got to create some motion. The play schemes. You can literally have 5 to 10 plays that you're going to use in the game. And then because you scheme those different plays, it'll seem like those 5 or 10 plays are going to be like 20 to 30 plays because you're showing different looks of those same plays. But because our offensive play calling is so vanilla, it's so stale, so predictable, it exposes our offensive line. So something got to happen. You're either going to get rid of Pat Shurmur and bring somebody in if we're keeping that offensive line, or you're going to have to get bigger and better offensive lines if you're planning on keeping Pat Shurmur. You just got to. But you can't do both. You can't have both. Either get rid of Pat or bring in some bigger guys. That's just how it goes. Point blank, period. What do you think? We have no run game because we don't have great running backs. The offensive line sucks, like yours says, so we can't run the ball. But what are you going to do? You can only affect what you can affect. Simple as that. Let me hear from you. What you think? Let me hear from you. Do you think Colorado's going to get bigger on the offensive line in the trenches or not? Or should Pat Shurmur go? I'm so sorry, Pat, but come on, man. We need a young mind that can call plays. Much better plays. Do you think Colorado has the money? And if we don't, then what do we need to do to get better? Because we cannot have championship aspirations. Not just championship in the college football playoffs. I'm talking about just the Big 12. Getting out of the Big 12 with teams like Arizona, BYU. Arizona, the way they looked and the way they played Texas, they would have spanked us if we met them. Because our trenches is not that great. So let me hear from you in the comments. Go to the comments and let me know what you think Colorado has to do to get better. Those are my prescriptions. That's what I prescribe. I'm going to leave it right there and I'll see y'all in the comments. And I'll see you. Get it? See you on the next video. Okay.